Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on March 20th, 2019. If you'd like to get my game Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Thank you, and please subscribe. Okay, so the object of my game is for you to correctly eliminate groups of numbers. There are 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball Lottery. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. So to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the 5 strategies of my game. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball Lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 30, 34, 39, 53, and 67. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And now I'm going to find out what colors they were. Okay, so the 30 was green, the 34 was purple, the 39 was green, the 53 was blue, and the 67 was blue. Okay, so I'm going to color those in. So again, the 30 and 39 were green. The 53 and 67 were blue. And the 34 was purple. Okay, so now I'm going to count how many colors I have. So I have 2 green, 2 blue, and a purple for 3 colors total. Okay, so now I'm going to change this to 315 drawings I kept track of so far. And a 3-color combination, I'm going to change this to 171. Okay. So if you divide 171 into 315, you can see that a 3-color combination comes up more than half the time, okay? And to me, that's huge, because if I just keep on taking a 3-color combination, I know statistically I'm going to be correct more than half the time, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new game card. So I'm going to eliminate all these colors and start from scratch, okay? So what I do here is I took the 69 white ball numbers and I divided them by 5 different colors, one for each of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, and that equals 13.8. So my goal is to get as close to as 13 or 14 numbers per color as possible, okay? Or a good representation of each color. So what I'm going to do now is, this is my color code right here, okay? So you can see that the last 3 drawings are red numbers, okay? And the reason why that is because that will give me a maximum of 15 numbers, okay? So I'm going to start to fill this in now. So it's 30, 34, 39, 53, and 67. And then the next line is 18, 36, 45, 47, and 69. And then the last one is 5, 6, 45, which is already taken. 55 and 59. So again, I'm going to color these in red. And now I'm going to count how many I have. So I got 1, and 2 is 3, and 3 is 6, and 3 is 9, and 5 is 14. So up here, I'm going to make this 14. Okay, so this tells me how many colors I have on the game card. Okay, so moving on to the orange. I'm going to start with the 6, which is already taken. So I'll move on to the 10, the 21, the 35, the 46. Then the next line is 1, 19, 25, 27, 68. And then the next line is 21, which is taken, 31, 42, 49, 59, which is already taken. And the last line is 4, 6 is taken, 14, 20, 32. So I'll color these in orange. And I'll see how many I have. So I got 2, and 3 is 5, 2 is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 4 is 16. Okay, so that's a little bit over what I like. Okay, but this color code is it's like a caterpillar here. You know, it just kind of keeps on moving down, and this kind of works its way out. Okay, so it will work its way out back to 14, 14, 14, and 13 at some point. Okay, so moving on to the green. Now you can see that I started off with only 3 red, and now it's 4 orange, and now it's even 6 green. And the reason why I do that is because the more I fill up this card with colors, the more I need to get up to that 13 or 14 mark. Okay? I hope that makes sense to you. Okay, so moving on. Starting at the 27, which is taken. The 49 is taken. The 50, 51, 52. Then the next line is 29. 30, it's taken. 41, 48, 64. And then the next line is 2, 8, 14, which is taken. The 24, 69 is taken. Then the next line is 1, 2, 3, 7, 39 is taken. And then the next line is 5, 13, 28, 38, 63. And then the last line is 10, 17, 18, 43, and 65. Okay, so I'm going to color these in green. And now I'm going to count how many I have. So I got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, so again, the last drawing was 21. Now it's 19. You can see how it's working its way out. Okay, and next drawing will probably have even a lot more or less green. Okay, but you may be looking at this and saying, okay, why don't you just eliminate a green row and bring this number down? Well, it's because the color code is set in stone here. Okay, I can't change it. I don't want to change it. Okay, so it gives me a consistent groups of numbers, which really breaks it down into a good representation of each color. Okay, so I think you get the gist of things of how I came up with this color code. So I'm going to move on. Okay, I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like for this drawing of March 20th, 2019. Okay, so I have 14 red numbers, 16 orange, 19 green, turned out to be 12 blue, and 8 purple. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is, with the last drawing, you can see that there was no orange numbers here. Okay, so if you could have eliminated the orange numbers from the last drawing, you could have gave yourself a much better chance at picking the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so again, the strategy is that I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. Okay, so since there's 3 colors that come up on a consistent basis more than half the time, then that means 2 colors are not coming up. Okay, so that's what I want to concentrate on here. This is the strategy. The strategy is to pick the color that you don't think will be coming up. Okay, so again, last drawing there was no orange numbers. This drawing, I'm going to guess that no green numbers are going to come up. Okay, and the reason why I'm going to do that, and I've been picking green for a while now, so at least the last 4 or 5 drawings, so you can see that I've been getting burned on this because the green keeps on coming up. And I know that it has the most on the game card right now, but that doesn't seem to matter. Okay, so what I look at is I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 drawings in a row that's came up. I just think with the ebb and flow of things, I just think that it's going to miss. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate the green numbers off of this game card. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I got two game cards here. Okay, the one on the left is for the last drawing, March 16th. Okay, and the one on the right is for this drawing, March 20th. Okay, so again, last drawing, if you could have eliminated the orange numbers, which I'll do right here. Again, you could have given yourself a much better chance at picking the winning Powerball numbers, okay, and giving you some kind of prize, all right? Let me get rid of that 31 as well. Okay, so again, the winning numbers are right down here, 30, 34, 39, 53, and 67, and you can see that they're all still in play here. The 30, the 34, the 39, the 53, and the 67, okay? So hopefully I'm going to pick correctly here, and I'm still going with the green, so I'm going to eliminate these green numbers right here. And hopefully none of these green numbers will come up. Okay, so let me block those out. Okay, so when I block out a number like this means that I'm not even going to consider this number when I'm picking what I think would be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So if I'm correct with my pick and none of these green numbers come up, I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is get involved here, okay? So I would like you to draw out the game card, all right? So pause the video, grab some paper, draw this out, just scribble it out real quick, okay? And if you decide to go with me and say that no green numbers are going to come up, then this is what your game card should look like, okay? So you could X out the numbers that you don't believe are going to come up, okay? So moving on to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 2, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. Okay, so again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. I like to keep track of that and try to correctly guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make this 360, okay? Now, it's 360 drawings because this goes back to October 15th, 2015, and that's when the Powerball Lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers, okay? So here, the last drawing was 30, 34, 39, 53, 67, so there's 3 odd numbers and 2 evens. So I'm going to make this 3 odd and 2 evens, okay? And now I'm going to make this 191 majority of odd numbers have come up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a separation here because what I like to do is keep track of every 5 drawings. So you can see that the odds won the drawings 4 drawings to 1. Okay, so I'm going to make that like this here, okay? So as you go down, you can see that the 5 drawings before that, it was the majority of even numbers, and then odds, odds, evens, odds, odds. So at some point, you can see all these odd numbers. Let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 drawings. The majority have been odds, okay? And then a couple more. So at some point, I think it's going to be evens, all right? And I'm not sure when that's going to be, but I'm going to go with the odds one more time here, okay? So we'll see what happens. Now, you may look at this and say, no, I think more even numbers are going to come up or whatnot, okay? So we're all going to look at this a little bit differently, all right? So moving on to the high and low here. The 67 and 30, we're in the low side. In the 34, 39, and 53 were in the high side. Okay, so it was 3 high, 2 low. I'm going to make this 182, and I'm going to separate this out a little bit. Okay, so the high won this round. 3 drawings to 2. Okay, so moving on. Actually, let me head down and see what has happened before, okay, in the past. So you can see that there was a bunch of high here, low, high, low, bunch of high. So I think it's going to go low eventually here, you know. When that's going to happen, I'm not sure. But for this drawing, I'm going to say that the high keeps on going. And I think there's going to be more high numbers than low numbers, okay? You may disagree, okay? So write that down on your sheet, what you think the majority will be. Okay, here I already filled things out. So you can see that's been 4 drawings in a row where it's been to the right side. Okay, so at some point, I think it's going to be to the left side, but I have a feeling it's going to stay one more time to the right. So if you feel that it's going to be to the left, then write that down as well, okay? And then the last one is red and blue. Okay, so I'm not sure what I'm going to pick here. As I go down, you can see that, well, right here, you can see that the red has come up a lot more than the blue, okay? But I'll go down and show you what I got here, okay? So again, I think that that will probably be to the blue side because the red has been so many to the red here. So I'm going to pick blue. All right. So one last thing that I do have something for the Powerball. Okay. There's 26 red ball numbers in with the Powerball. Okay. So in this column here, basically what I did is I just divided the 26 divided by 2. Okay. So if you see a blue number, then that means it's low, 1 to 13. If you see a red number, that means it's high, 14 to 26. Over in this right column, if you see a red number, that means it's odds. And if you see a blue, that means it's evens, okay? And the reason why I do that is because now I just kind of look at the colors. So when I see a long strip of red like this, well, I know it's going to be blue eventually, you know? So I just have to guess accordingly here, okay? So what this green means is that the Powerball repeated itself. So you can see that the 14 came up and then it repeated again, okay? So moving on to the next strategy, and that's strategy number 3, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers, okay? And how this works is I broke up all the numbers into 7 different groups. So let me reduce this down so you can see the whole card. Okay, so again, you can see that I have 7 groups, and group number 1 is the only one with 9 numbers. It's 1 through 9, and then it's the teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Again, for 7 groups total. Okay, so there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So I know that 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is try to correctly guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so last drawing. Let me bring this up a little bit here. Last drawing was right here. You can see that it's 30, 34, 39, 53, and 67. Okay. So as I head on over, you can see that I marked these in. The 30 was green, the 34 was purple, and the 39 was green. Okay. So the reason why I put these in is because that's what the color code was. All right. So you can see that there was no 20 numbers, no team numbers, and no numbers through 1 through 9, okay? So if you picked that no numbers of 1 through 9 here, like I did last drawing, you could have eliminated those numbers and gave yourself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the last drawing here, okay, and I'm going to eliminate that 1 through 9 number. Okay, so you can still see that the winning numbers are still here, the 30, the 34, the 39, the 53, and the 67, okay? So with this drawing here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to say that no numbers from 1 through 9 are going to come up. So I'm going to eliminate those numbers here. Okay, so let me go back to the individual numbers and reduce this down for you. Okay, so what I want you to do is look at this and decide for yourself what group of numbers will not be coming up, okay? So to help you with this, I'm going to point out how this 1 through 9, even though it has only 9 numbers where the rest have 10, you can see how hot this was, okay? And then as I keep on going down, you can see that it cooled off a lot, okay? So there's a lot less markings here than there were, okay? So these are the things that I look for, okay? So these are things that you can look for as well. So with this big square right here, this is good for 5 drawings, okay? And why I break it down into 5 is because my theory is that if there's a bunch of hits within these 5 drawings, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, or vice versa, okay? So since this 1 through 9 has been just really, really hot in the last 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, okay? 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, the last 60 drawings. This is another reason why I break it down into 5, because it's easier to count down how many drawings there have been. Okay, so in the last 60 drawings, this 1 through 9 has been really hot, and I just expect it to go with the ebb and flow of things and kind of cool off. Okay, so that's why I'm going to go with the 1 through 9. You make a decision on what you think is going to happen, because again, we're all going to look at this a little bit differently, okay? So one more thing is, let me reduce this, let me bring this back up, Okay, so again, the numbers were 30, 34, 39, okay, so that's all in one group. Then the 50 is in another group, and the 67 is in another, so that's 3 groups total. Okay, so a 3 or a 4 come up the most as I go down through the history of things, okay? A 5 comes up every now and again, and a 2 comes up in a blue moon, okay? So I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I'm kind of thinking that it's probably going to be a 4, okay? Just because it comes up the most. So that means 3 of these groups I think are going to have a miss to it, all right? So I'm just going to concentrate on 1, and that's it, all right? Another way that that you could use this is you could just highlight like this 6, and you could go down and see what colors have not come up, okay? So far you can see that it's been red, green, blue, red, purple, okay? What hasn't come up? The orange hasn't come up in a while, okay? So maybe when this 6 gets to the orange area, maybe I'll consider picking that because it hasn't been orange in a while, okay? So that's another way that you can use this. All right, so going back to the game card, again, I eliminated the numbers of 1 through 9. All right, so off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I took all the numbers and divided it into 4 different groups. Okay, and I put colors to these groups. So when a 5 white winning Powerball land within these groups, I record where they land down here in the stats. Okay. So again, it was the 67 was red, the 30 was blue, the 34 was orange, and the 39 and 69 were green. Okay, so again, it was one red, one blue, one orange, two green. When all four colors hit like that, I call that a row. Okay, so let me color these in. Okay, I use the background of red or blue. Okay, red always means hot. Blue always means cold. Okay, so if there's a hit, I color it red. If there's a miss, I color it blue. Okay, so moving on to number 2 here, I have 15 of these option cards. So here, again, it was the, we'll start off with the 30. The 34 was in red. The 39 was in green. The 53 is in orange. And the 67 was in blue. Okay, so I have one red, one blue, two orange, one green, or another row. Okay, I'm going to color these in red again. Okay, and the last one I'm going to do is this 3. Okay, so you can see that it started off with the 30, 34, 39, 53, and 67. Okay, so you can see that there was no red numbers that came up. Okay, so I'm going to put a 0 here, 2 in the blue, 2 in the orange, and 1 in the green. So I'll color these red, and this one blue, just to give me some separation. Okay, so I'm going to change this to 89. That means that there's been 89 blue marks within this column right here. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Now, if I could have correctly guessed that none of these red numbers were going to come up in the last drawing, I could have eliminated all these numbers and gave myself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize. Okay, so moving on. Last drawing, no blue numbers came up in this option card number 8. Okay, and I picked this one correctly last drawing. And you can see that there was 19 drawings in a row, and I just felt that it was due to miss. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate these blue numbers off of the game card here. Okay, so numbers that really stick out are the 65, 36, and 66. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of these numbers. Okay, so you can see that the 5 white winning numbers are still here. The 30, the 34, the 39, the 53, and the 67. Okay, all still here. So another one that didn't come up is 12 orange. Okay, so here's something where there's been you can see that sometimes these blue marks, they double up, okay, or even triple up. So this last drawing had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 single zeros before it tripled up again here, okay? So, this is what my game does. It kind of creates advantages, okay? And you just have to, use your gut feeling on where you think an advantage is, okay? So it's kind of like, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Advantages are in the eye of the beholder as well. Okay. Again, we're all going to look at this a little bit differently. Okay. So I'm going to eliminate these orange numbers off of the last drawings game card here. Okay. So it was the 12, 28, 26, and 17. So I'll get rid of those, and you can see that there's no orange up here as well. Okay, so for this drawing here, I also, what I like to do is over here, this is the overview of group 1, and all I count is the misses. Okay, all I count is the blue marks. Okay, so with all these option cards, they all have the same colors of red, blue, orange, green. Okay, so I keep track of that as an overview. And out of 15 option cards, there was only 2 zeros among all the red areas in the last drawing. Okay, there's 4 zeros in the blue, 4 in the green, 2 in the orange. All right, for a total of 12 zeros. So there's usually always plenty of zeros to choose from. Okay, and I recommend that you only choose 1 or 2, and that's it. Okay, because the more you pick, the greater the odds of you're probably going to be wrong. All right. So you can see that there was a blue six here. Okay. Now why I have that is because I want some separation. All right. So it starts at the 5, and that's a third of the option cards. Okay. So if I can guess where a blue mark is going to be. Like if I say, gee, I think there's really going to be a blue mark right here on the orange, then that means that if I'm correct, then there's going to be at least 5 of these option cards with a 0 to it in that orange area. Okay, so I need all the help I can get as far as helping me pick where these zeros are going to come up. Okay, so for this drawing here, I'm going to say that no blue numbers are going to come up in this option card number 10. Okay. Now you can see that it says no 3. And what that means is that there's been no 3 zeros in a row like this. Okay. In this blue area. Okay. So as I go down, you can see that, again, there's no 3. But there's plenty over here. Okay. As I go down, you can see that the other columns have plenty of 3s to it. Okay. So as I head back up, I didn't really see any in the orange. Here it is in the orange area. Okay. There's another in the orange. Okay. So again, no 3 zeros in a row, so I think that that's kind of due to happen since all the other columns have plenty of them. Okay, so I'm going to hope that none of these blue numbers come up in this next drawing here. So it's the pattern of 4, 10, 18, 28, and all the way around here. Okay, so let me go back to this drawing here. So again, I'm going to get rid of the 10, the 18, the 66, 14, 22, 32, 36, 42, 60, 40, 46, 54. So again, hopefully none of those numbers come up. All right. So one more thing I want to point out here is that you can see that I have numbers over here to the left side of the game card. But over here, you can see that there's no numbers here, okay? So what this means is what I call sharing the square, okay? Like this 66 shares the square with the 8, okay? So if I get rid of all these blue numbers, I'm going to get rid of the 8 and the 66 at the same time, okay? So again, it's just a group of numbers that I keep track of, and if it's going to be blue, if it's going to be a miss, then all these numbers are going to miss, okay? So moving on to the next one. The next one I'm going to pick is this option card 14, no orange numbers. Okay. So you can see that it's been up to 22 drawings now. An orange number hasn't come up. And before that, the longest streak was 18. Okay, so it's overdue from the longest streak, and hopefully it will miss now. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the 2, 4, 65, 27 pattern and all the way around here. Okay, so 2, 4 is gone, 2, 4, 65, the 27's gone, the 31's gone, the 34, the 57, and the 61. So hopefully those numbers won't come up. Okay. So moving on here. Actually, the 25 shares the square with the 65, so I'll get rid of that. Okay, so moving on to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 5, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, folks, so this is the last strategy. We're almost at the on the home stretch here. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1, where I divided things into 4 different groups, here I divided things into 8 different groups. Okay, so just another way of looking at groups of numbers. Okay, except with this one, since there's 8 groups of numbers, and there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers, I know that 3 of these colored numbers, these colored groups, cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess which one of these colored groups will not have the winning Powerball number to it, and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so again, the numbers were 30, which was brown, 34, which is blue, 39, which was gray, 53, which was purple, and 67 was orange. Okay, so down here in the stats, I have 15 of these option cards as well. This is option card number 1, and they all have the same colors to it as well: red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay, and they all go in the same. They all kind of look the same, except that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other. Okay, so again, it's red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay, so you can see that the numbers are different. Okay, so again, I like to read things from left to right here. Okay, so I'm going to start with the blue, 34. One blue, 1 orange, 1 purple, 1 brown, 1 gray. Okay, so 5 of these colored groups hit. So there was nothing in the red area. 1 blue. What was it? 1 orange. Let's see here. Yeah, 1 orange. Sorry about that. No green. 1 purple. 1 brown. 1 gray. No yellow. Okay, so that hit 5 color groups. Now the majority was over here to the right side, so I'm going to color this 5 green. Okay, and now the majority is over here green, so I'm going to color the background green. Okay, so that just helps me look at things. So when I go down and I see a bunch of red, well, I know it's going to be green eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. Okay, so why this is yellow is because this was on the verge. It was 2 misses, 2 hits, and what's going to happen next. Okay, so I'm going to color this red now because majority. Actually, I'm going to color them all red here. Okay, so what I do now is I just count the red areas. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I put that over here. Okay, so when I haven't seen something in a while, like maybe a 3 or something, okay, that helps me when it gets to the end of the 5 drawings here. All right, so moving on. You can see that I already did the number 2 here. Okay, everything's already updated. All right, so what I'm going to do now is the last drawing if you could have picked that no red numbers were going to come up, you could have eliminated these red numbers and gave yourself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize. So I'm going to go back to the last drawing here, and I'm going to get rid of the red numbers, which is the 33 and the 57. So again, you can see the winning numbers are still on the board: the 30, the 34, the 39, the 53, and the 67. Okay, so moving on for me, for my pick is I'm going to say that no yellow numbers are going to come up. Okay, so I hope that this yellow just keeps on going. I hope that the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so we'll see what happens. So I'm going to eliminate these yellow numbers off of this drawing's game card. Okay, so for you to make a pick now, all right, I'm going to scroll down kind of slowly here. And you guess where that 0 is going to be, okay? So certainly this looks pretty attractive right here in the purple, okay? Totally up to you on where you think that 0 is going to be. There's going to be at least 3, okay? On average, there's 4, so it's kind of like a coin flip. You could pick one of these and, you know, you have a 50-50 chance of getting it correct, okay? So pick your 0 and then come up here and eliminate that group of numbers off of your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 2. Last drawing. If you could have picked that no blue numbers were going to come up, you could have eliminated those blue numbers. And that's 9 through to 16. And this is over in the last drawing, so it would have been the 10, 15, and 16. And you can still see those winning numbers are still left here on the board, okay? So for me, I'm going to pick no green numbers, okay? So here's the green. Okay, so as I go down through, you can see that it got pretty hot here, okay? So, sorry I didn't explain what this was. You can see that I like to keep track of every 5 drawings, okay? And the reason why I like to do that is because it will show me a majority of things, okay? So if there's 3 or more 0s, the majority is cold, so I color the background blue. If there's 3 or more hits, I consider that hot, and I color the background red, okay? So I know that the lottery is really random, right? We all know that. So this is what random looks like, okay? So when I see something that's been really hot, like over here in the yellow, okay? Well, I know it's going to turn blue eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen, okay? And I think it's going to happen here. I think it's going to have a long thing of blue here because it's been so red up here, okay? So again, I'm going to eliminate the actually the green numbers is what I'm going with, okay, from the game card, and that's the 26 and the 30. Okay, so moving on for you here, okay, let me scroll down kind of slow. Okay, and then you pick where you think that 0 is going to be, okay? Pause the video if you need to, all right? Make a decision and eliminate those numbers off of your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 3. Last drawing. If you could have picked that no blue numbers were going to come up, you could have eliminated those blue numbers and gave yourself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize, and that's the 1 and the 38 here. Again, this is for the last drawing. You can see there's nothing here, but over here there's plenty. 3 more numbers taken off the card, okay? And again, you can see all the winning numbers are still here. Okay, the 30, 34, 39, 53, and 67. Okay, so moving on for me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take no red numbers. Okay, so over here you can see the red. See how hot this was? And now I think it's going to cool off, and I think the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of those red numbers, and that's the 4 and the 37 for this drawing over here. So it's the 12, 20, 37, 45, 69, and the 53 shares the square with the 69, so I'm going to get rid of both of them. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to give you a chance to pick. Okay, and you pick where you think that 0 is going to be. Okay, so pause the video if you need to, and then eliminate that group of numbers off of your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 4. Last drawing. If you could have picked that no orange numbers were going to come up, you could have eliminated these orange numbers and gave yourself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize. Okay, it's the 21 and 49. You can see that there's no 49 there, so 3 more numbers off of this old card. Okay, so for me, I'm going to pick that no red numbers are going to come up. So again, here's the red. And as I work my way down here, you can see that it got pretty hot in here. Pretty hot again. And now I think it's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, so we'll see what happens. And I'm going to eliminate those red numbers. The 5 and the 33. So there's no 5, and there's the 33 and 35. Hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay? So now I'll give you a chance to pick. Okay? Again, take your time. Make a decision on where you think that 0 is going to be. And then eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so moving on to number 5. Oops, I'm sorry. Okay, last drawing. If you could have picked that no brown numbers were going to come up, you could have eliminated those group of numbers. Okay. And this is the 5, so I'll take that out on the last game card, and the only one left is the 29. Okay, so for this game card, for this drawing, I'm going to take no green numbers. Okay, so I think the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, we'll see what happens. And I'm going to eliminate all these green on this card. So that's the 39 and the 62. Oops. Okay, so moving on here. For you, scroll down slowly here. And make a decision on where you think that 0 is going to be. Again, there's going to be at least 3 of them. Just pick one and move on, okay? So you can see over here how much red there is, okay? So maybe that the majority of the numbers that are going to come up will maybe over here to the right side. So you may want to be looking over here on the left side for that 0, okay? So make your decision and eliminate that group of numbers off of your game card. Okay, so moving on. Number 6. Last drawing, if you could have said that no gray numbers were going to come up, then you could have eliminated those gray numbers of 1, 10, 17, 26. So there's the only thing to eliminate is the 58 here. That shares the square with the 68. Okay, so for this drawing, I'm going to say that no yellow numbers are going to come up. Okay, so as we go down through the yellow, you can see that it's been pretty hot here. Okay, and now I think the 0 is going to be right here. So we'll see what happens, and I'm going to eliminate those yellow numbers, the 2, 9, 18, 65. Over here, 2, 9, 18, 65, 2, 9, 18, 65. Well, there's nothing to eliminate, okay? That happens. And now I'm going to give you a chance to pick, okay? Okay, so as I head on down, guess where that 0 is going to be, okay? Take your time. Pause the video if you need to. Make a decision and X out those numbers that you don't think are going to come up. Okay, so moving on to number 7. All right, so last drawing. If you could have said that no red numbers were going to come up, you could have eliminated those red numbers. And that's the 65, 18, 27, 20 all the way across. So you could have got rid of that 18. And you can still see that the winning numbers are still here on the board. The 30, 34, 39, 53, and 67. Okay? So for me, I'm going to say that no gray numbers are going to come up. Okay, so I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to eliminate those gray numbers. And that's the 9, 2, 11, 4 all the way across. So I'll get rid of the 11 and the 15. Okay, so for you, I'm going to scroll down slowly here. Okay, make a decision on where you think that 0 is going to be. Okay, again, pause the video if you need to, and then X out those numbers that are still left on your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 8. Okay, we're halfway through. All right, so last drawing. If you could have said that no green numbers were going to come up, you could have eliminated these green numbers, and that's the 8, 13, 24, 29 all the way down. So it's the 40, the 45, the 56, and the 61. Okay, and you can still see that the winning numbers are still here. Okay, so for me on this one, I am going to go with no purple numbers. Okay, so if you follow this purple down, my guess is that it's going to be right here. We'll see what happens. But I'm going to eliminate those purple numbers. And that's the 1, 12, 17, 27 all the way down. So it's the 44 and the 49 and the 59. Okay, so hopefully I eliminated all the correct numbers, and the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers are still left here on the game card. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to give you a chance to pick from 8 here. Okay, so just moving down slowly. Okay, you decide where you think that 0 is going to be. Okay, so again, take your time. All right, there's only 500 million, 550 million on the line. No biggie. Take your time. Pause the video if you need to. And then eliminate that group of numbers off of your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 9. Last drawing. If you could have said that no yellow numbers were going to come up. Okay, you could have eliminated those yellow numbers. Gave yourself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize. And that's the 1217 and the 6629 on the right side. So get rid of that 44. Okay, so one less. And now for me, number 9, I'm going to guess that no green numbers are going to come up. Okay, so you can see that things have gotten pretty hot. And now I think that 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so we'll see what happens. And I'm going to eliminate these green numbers, the 4, 65, 13, 24 on the right side. And you can see that there's nothing to get rid of. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to give you a chance to pick. Here's another big thing of green, you know. So eventually, you know, it's going to be red. Just when's it going to happen, you know? Okay, so make your decision on where you think that 0 is going to be. Again, there's going to be at least 3 of them. Okay, pause the video if you need to. And then X out those numbers on your game card. Okay, so moving on to 10. We're almost there. Last drawing. If you could have said no purple numbers are going to come up, you could have eliminated those purple numbers. And that's the 1027 all the way around, that pattern. Okay, so 1027, 1027, 1027, and the 63. Okay, so you can still see that the 5 white winning numbers are still on the game card. Okay, so for me, I'm going to take no gray numbers. So I think the 0 is going to be right here. All right. We'll see what happens. And I'm going to get rid of this gray, the 1728, that pattern all the way around. And I'll get rid of the 21. Okay, so for you, you see how hot this gray and yellow have been. And you can see how much green is here, so maybe a lot of 0s will be coming up over here on this right side. Who knows? Okay, so make your best guess on where that 0 is going to be. Pause the video if you need to. And eliminate that group of numbers off of your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 11. Last drawing. If you could have picked that no brown numbers are going to come up, you would have been correct. Okay. And that's the 2, 23, 37, 52. 2, 23, 37, 52, and get rid of that 60. Okay, so for me, I'm going to go with no orange numbers. Okay, so you can see the orange has been really, really hot through here. Okay, and now I think it's going to go on a cold streak. Okay, So I think the 0 is going to be right here. We'll see what happens. And that's the 66, 67, 33, and 54. So I'll get rid of that 67, and that shares the square with the 19. Okay, so that brings me down to the 5 numbers. So I'm going to go with the 23, the 47, the 55, the 58, and the 68. Okay, so hopefully those numbers will come up for me. Okay, so with the last drawing, and let me have you make your pick. Okay, so make a decision on where you think that 0 is going to be. Pause the video if you need to. And then X out those numbers off of your game card. Okay, so moving on to 12. Okay, last drawing. If you could have picked that, no blue numbers are going to come up. Okay, you would have been correct. You could have eliminated those numbers. Again, that's the 66 and the 36. You could have got that 43 out of the way. Okay. So again, I'm done with my picks. All right. That's what I'm going with. And for you, we'll scroll down. You see how hot this gray was. Okay. So make a decision on where you think that 0 is going to be. Pause the video if you need to. And then X out those numbers off your game card. Okay, so moving on to 13. Okay, last drawing. If you could have picked that, no yellow numbers were going to come up. You could have eliminated the 1 and the 37 here. Taking out that 47. Okay, and for you, you see how hot this red has been over here in the purple. Maybe you might want to go with one of those two, okay? So make a decision. Pause the video if you need to. And eliminate that group of numbers off of your game card. Okay, so moving on to 14. We're almost there, folks. I know that this could get monotonous over time, okay? 14, if you could have picked, no purple numbers are going to come up. Okay, you could have gotten rid of those. And that's these 2 middle areas right here. And you can see that there's nothing to get rid of here. Okay, so for you, okay, you can see how hot this green and gray has been, okay? Okay, so make a decision on where you think that 0 is going to be. Take your time. Pause the video if you need to. And then X out that group of numbers off your game card. Okay, folks, last one. Last drawing. If you could have taken no green numbers. Okay, you could have gotten rid of those. And that's the 12 and the 48. So get rid of the 48, and that's it. Okay, so that brings it down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers. Okay, and now you would have had to make a guess on the 5 that came up. Okay, uh, for you, let me scroll on down here. Okay, you can see how hot this red has been. Okay, so maybe you want to take that. Or maybe this purple. Okay, so you can see how much red has been over here. So maybe you want to zero out this red and maybe something will come up in the purple. Who knows? Or maybe this yellow is certainly looking like there's going to be a hit to it. Okay, so if there is, then that means one of these numbers will be coming up to 13, 21, 30, 31, or to 34, 35, 44, or 52. Okay? Who knows? Okay, let me go back. Sorry to interrupt your thought process there. Again, pick where you think the zero is going to be. Where the zero is going to be. Pause the video if you need to. And then X out those numbers off of your game card. Okay, so again, I'm going to go with the 23, 47, 55, 58, and 68. Okay, so I'd just like to talk about the odds for a second. Okay, to get the grand prize, all 5 white balls and the red ball, that's the odds are 1 in 292 million. Okay, my goal is to get the $1 million prize. That's all 5 white balls. If I get the grand prize, bonus, right? Another nice prize is 4 white balls and a red ball. That's $50,000. The odds are just about 1 in a million. Okay. And then more realistic odds for a $100 play. 4 white balls or 3 in a red. That's a $100 prize. Those are nice to win, especially if you have the power play with it. And the $7 prize is 3 white balls or 2 white balls and a red. Will pay you $7, and that's nice to have. If you pay in 3, you can get back like 21 or whatever. That's nice as well. Okay, so they always say to play responsibly. Okay, and I just want to put my 2 cents in is that if you play $3 per drawing. Okay, that's 2 drawings a week. That will come out that you're going to spend $312 per year. Okay, just to give you an idea of how much you're spending. Okay, so in closing, I want to thank you for watching. Okay, if you'd like to support my channel, then please go to my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. And as always, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.